Hello students, let us come to the next topic, cervical pleura. Pleura is a covering over the lungs which is shown in this bluish color in the diagram. It is having two layers, outer layer or parietal pleura and second layer which is towards the lungs, that is visceral pleura. Cervical pleura is the part of pleura which extends into the cervical region or lower part of the neck. Cervical pleura covers the apex of lung and it is shown here in the yellow color. It rises into the root of the neck about 5 cm above the first costal cartilage. This is first rib and the cartilage attached to it is the first costal cartilage. So about 5 cm above this cartilage there is extension of pleura into the lower part of the neck area, and it extends about 2.5 cm above the medial 1/3 part of the clavicle bone. Pleural dome is strengthened above by the presence of suprapleural membrane. Suprapleural membrane is a thick triangular sheet which guards the inlet of the thorax. It separates the upper part of thorax from the lower part of neck. It is attached posteriorly on the C7 vertebra and anteriorly it is attached on the inner border of the first rib. It do not allow the root of neck to puff up and down during the process of respiration. Next comes to relations of cervical pleura. So in the diagram we can see this is cervical pleura, and in anterior relation to cervical pleura there is presence of subclavian artery and its branches. In front of subclavian artery there is presence of insertion of the scalenus anterior muscle, and more anteriorly there is presence of subclavian vein and its tributaries. Next come to posterior relations of cervical pleura. So in the diagram, this is the diagram of cut section across the inlet of the thorax, in which we can see the apical part of the lungs covered by cervical pleura. So here posterior structures which are present to the cervical pleura are, first is we can see the neck of the first rib, and other structures which are present anterior to this neck of the first rib are sympathetic trunk. This yellow color structure is the sympathetic trunk, then first posterior intercostal vein, then superior intercostal artery and first thoracic nerve. Apart from sympathetic trunk, these three structures, these are present in the first intercostal space and supplies the first intercostal space. Lateral relations. First is scalenus anterior muscle, which is present lateral to the cervical pleura, and then scalenus medius is present more laterally, and in between these two muscles there is origin of or passes the lower trunk of the brachial plexus. Medial relations are vertebral bodies, trachea, esophagus, thoracic duct, left recurrent laryngeal nerve, and large vessels of neck, that is arteries and veins. These are also present medial to the cervical pleura. Let us come to next topic, that is cervical plexus. Cervical plexus is a network of nerve fibers that supplies innervation to some of the structures in the neck and trunk area. It is formed by ventral rami of upper 4 cervical nerves. So ventral rami are shown in this blue color. The rami This is ventral ramus, this is dorsal ramus. So ventral ramus emerge between the anterior and posterior tubercle of transverse process of the cervical vertebra and grooving the costo-transverse bar. So this area is the costo-transverse bar. Costo-transverse bar is the area of transverse process present between the anterior tubercle and the posterior tubercle. So it is grooved by the passage of ventral ramus of the spinal nerve. These four ventral rami, these join one another with the help of nerve fibers which are present in the form of a loop or which form a loop. So these four ventral rami join with one another with the help of three loops. Position of cervical plexus. Cervical plexus is located in the posterior triangle of neck. So this is the area of posterior triangle, and here we can see this is the cervical plexus which is forming. It is present halfway up the sternocleidomastoid muscle. It is present within the prevertebral layer of deep cervical fascia. Relations of cervical plexus. First of all, posterior relations. Posteriorly there are two muscles. There is presence of two muscles. One muscle is scalenus medius muscle which is present just behind it, and slightly more behind there is presence of muscle known as levator scapulae muscle. So these two muscles, scalenus medius and levator scapulae, these are present posterior to the cervical plexus. Anteriorly there is presence of prevertebral fascia, internal jugular vein which is visible here, but fascia, prevertebral fascia is not visible, and then sternocleidomastoid muscle is also present anteriorly. Mainly the lower part of sternocleidomastoid is present anterior to the cervical plexus. So sternocleidomastoid muscle is shown here, but it is cut. Upper portion is visible only, lower portion is cut to expose the deep structures of neck. Branches of the cervical plexus. First of all, superficial branches or cutaneous branches which supplies the skin. These are lesser occipital nerve. Next is great auricular nerve. Next nerve is transverse cutaneous nerve of neck, or it is also known as transverse cervical nerve, and supraclavicular nerve. All these nerves are cutaneous nerves and this supplies the skin of side of neck. Lesser occipital nerve supplies small strip of skin behind the pinna, and greater auricular nerve supplies skin of posterior part of face just in front of the ear or pinna. Then transverse cervical nerve reaches almost in the mid of the neck and supplies that area, and also small part of the skin in the area of posterior part of mandible. Supraclavicular nerves reaches in the area of the clavicle and supplies skin over the clavicle and also about 2 cm below the clavicle bone. Next are the deep branches. So in the deep branches, first of all, communicating branches means which communicate with the other nerves or join with the other nerves. So first of all, branches from the ventral ramus C1, C2, C3, C4, these join with the superior cervical ganglion. So this is a ganglion formed by, this is sympathetic ganglion formed by cervical nerves. Superior cervical ganglion is larger in size and it also receives communicating branches from these four nerves which are the branches of the cervical plexus and join with them. One branch arises from the C1 ventral ramus and then joins the hypoglossal nerve, and then further nerve fibers are carried for the supply of genioid muscle and thyroid muscle. Then further, superior root of the ansa cervicalis has formed, which supplies the muscle superior belly of the omohyoid muscle. A branch from C2 and C3 ventral rami is given for sternocleidomastoid muscle, and from C3 and C4 ventral ramus one branch is given for trapezius muscle. These two branches further proceed and joins with the accessory nerve, that is the spinal accessory nerve, and communicate with that. Muscular branches, these are also the deeper branches of the plexus. So muscles which are supplied by cervical plexus are rectus capitis anterior, that is supplied by C1 nerve, rectus capitis lateralis from C1 and C2 both. Then C1, C2 and C3 supplies the longus capitis muscle. Muscles supplied by lower or inferior root of ansa cervicalis are infrahyoid muscles. Infrahyoid muscles include the sternohyoid, sternothyroid, and inferior belly of omohyoid muscles. Muscles supplied by cervical plexus along with branches from brachial plexus or the spinal accessory nerve are sternocleidomastoid muscle, then trapezius muscle, the next is the levator scapulae, then diaphragm, longus colli muscle, and all three scalene muscles. So all these structures are having nerve supply from cervical plexus, brachial plexus, and branches from spinal accessory nerve. Next comes to phrenic nerve. Phrenic nerve is a mixed nerve carrying motor fibers as well as sensory fibers. So in the diagram we can see this yellow color structure. This is the phrenic nerve. Right and left phrenic nerves are there. Motor fibers supplies the diaphragm, and sensory fibers receive the sensation from diaphragm, pleura, pericardium, and some part of the peritoneum. Phrenic nerve is formed mainly from fourth cervical nerve, but also receive contribution from third and fifth cervical nerve. The contribution from C5 may come directly from the root or indirectly through the nerve to subclavius. So the nerve that is coming from subclavius muscle, that contribution is known as accessory phrenic nerve, that later on joins the main phrenic nerve. Force and relations in the neck. Nerve is formed from C4 nerve at the lateral border of scalenus anterior muscle. So this muscle which is visible here, this is scalenus anterior, and from the C4 nerve, this nerve is formed at the lateral border of scalenus anterior, and this level lies at the level of upper border of the thyroid cartilage in the neck, and also it is the level of mid of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. The nerve runs vertically downwards from its origin on the anterior surface of the scalenus anterior muscle. So this muscle is obliquely present in the neck area. So nerve appears to cross from lateral to medial side in the neck. In this diagram we can see this is phrenic nerve running downwards, and this is the scalenus anterior muscle. Nerve firstly form at the lateral border of scalenus anterior, then it runs on the anterior surface of scalenus anterior, and because of obliquity of the muscle, nerve appear to cross the muscle from lateral to medial side. So in this course of the nerve, it is related anteriorly to the prevertebral fascia, inferior belly of the omohyoid muscle, then suprascapular artery, internal jugular vein, sternocleidomastoid muscle, and the thoracic duct on left side, which is not shown in this diagram. After leaving the anterior surface of scalenus anterior muscle, the nerve proceeds downwards and run over the anterior surface of the cervical pleura. So cervical pleura is present 2.5 centimeter above the clavicle bone. So here we can see this is clavicle, and about 2.5 centimeter means this in this area. This is the presence of cervical pleura, which is not shown in this diagram. So on the anterior surface of that pleura, the nerve is running. In this diagram, we can see these are the phrenic nerves which are coming from above, and at this level it crosses the internal thoracic artery from lateral to medial side and enter the thorax by passing behind the first costal cartilage on both the sides. Internal thoracic artery is an artery which arises from subclavian artery near its origin, and after its origin it descends downwards into the thorax area. In the left side, in this left area, the nerve leaves the anterior surface of scalenus anterior at a higher level and then crosses in front of the first part of the subclavian artery. This is subclavian artery. So in front of its first part, this nerve, phrenic nerve, is crossing on left side. Then in the thorax area, the nerve crosses on both the sides of the pericardium, and while its course, it gives branches to the pericardium also, and then reaches the diaphragm and supplies there. Branches are also given for the pleura in the thorax area and for the peritoneum in the abdominal cavity, where these receive the sensations or these are the sensory branches. So the nerve supplies motor fibers to the diaphragm and receives sensations from pleura, pericardium and peritoneum, and also from the diaphragm